All right, guys, we're going over a 15-minute static stretch, or around 15-minute static stretch exercises for anyone who's feeling stiff from their desk job and wanting to mobilize their body better and feel like they're better prepared and less stiff throughout their day. Most people only have like a 15-minute break, so I feel like this is a good time constraint to both feel good and reap some benefits. So let's get started. We're going to start off at 90-90. Caveat, guys, if my phone keeps like turning off my camera because it hates me, if for some reason this happens again, I'm just gonna have to upload it in segments and combine them all together. But you know, we'll let that happen when it happens. We'll start off in 90-90. Boom. I'm gonna use my minute timer, and hopefully that doesn't mess up my camera. Boom, hitting the minute timer. Now I'm getting the static stretch going. Now, important caveat: in order to, you can just stay in this stretch or in this position and feel the stretch. That's perfectly cool. If that's what you're feeling, that's the vibe, go with it. If you're wanting to enhance the stretch and or the vibe, what you can do is perform iso holds during the course of a minute. What that means is, in this position, performing the iso hold would mean generating tension in a certain direction. So right now I can generate tension downwards into the floor. Boom. Hold that for 3 to 5 seconds and then enhance my stretch and go deeper into it. I can perform an iso hold in the other direction by trying to lift my entire leg up into me, feeling a bigger, greater stretch, and then relax and get deeper into the stretch that way. Really just depends on your vibe. I'd recommend getting 3 to 5 iso holds over the course of a minute. Got about 5 more seconds left in this, guys. I think it's the timer that might mess up the camera. Ooh, maybe we might be onto something, guys. Boom, other side. Yeah, getting that 90-90 stretching. Now, if you guys recognize this stretch, it's very similar to pigeon. Pigeon stretch is often seen in yoga. I like this one a little better because it allows you to get the foot further away from you. I can't pigeon with my foot at a 90-degree angle, or my shin and knee at 90-degree angles. Allow me to get a deeper glute stretch. Boom. So we're holding, guys. About 28 more seconds left. Once again, feel free to perform the iso holds for 3 to 5 seconds of pushing down and pulling up into you. If you perform one iso hold of pushing down, I recommend you perform the other iso hold of pulling towards you to make sure you stay even. And guys, my glutes are sore. And still trying to beat the timer, make sure it doesn't do anything stupid. Is there another timer function on here, guys? I'm looking real quick, forgive me. Probably should have checked that before I started filming. Oh well. Boom. All right, guys, we just did an external rotation stretch of the hip. Now we're gonna do an internal rotation stretch of the hip. Boom, and this is how we do internal rotation stretch of the hip. I'll be constantly checking my watch so it doesn't mess up my camera. You guys might be wondering how to perform an iso hold in this position. If you have a low yoga block, you can put it under here and kind of stack them and crush the yoga block. If you want to, that's the iso hold pressing down. Adversely, you could perform the iso hold pressing outwards by pushing against your hand. I'm really tired and sore, so I'm going to do neither and just stretch it out. Oof. Ugh. 15 seconds left, guys. Hold and stay strong. Holding. That's definitely been a minute. We're going other side. Now, if you're super stretchy, you let's say this is easy. You can just easily touch your knee to the ground like that without having to compensate through the hip and lift the butt off the ground. What you can do is you can elevate your feet to make that more difficult, like on top of like sand bells from Hyperwear, shout out to Hyperwear. Or you can elevate them on yoga blocks if you're bold and brave. I'm not that bold or brave. those are two good ways. If this is excruciating for you, you're not able to do this, you can elevate yourself, and that'll give you an easier drop, an easier experience. If this stretch is new to you or feeling kind of gruesome, so those are definitely modifications you could use for a stretch like this. Got about 5 more seconds, guys. All right, we're good. Next, guys, we're going to go on to we just did exrotation and insertion of the hip. We're now going to move on to hip extension and hip flexion. So I'm here. We're good. This is a Bulgarian position. Oh, this is miserable. Feel this in my quads, right through here and through my hip. You're just going to hold this and really feel that stretch in the hip. If you guys want to enhance this, once again, you can form the ice hole by squeezing the glutes, slightly bringing the hip forward and really stretching out that quad. You can also try to drag the quad forward in this direction, cranking on it hard, and further enhancing the stretch. Once again, if you perform one ice hold in one direction, make sure you hit the other side. Yeah, got a little over 20 seconds left, guys. Oof. Stretchy, stretchy, stretchy. All right, we're switching sides. Oh, this is miserable. Once again, Bulgarian, guys, Bulgarian position. Great way to open up the hip flexor and stretch the quad. We are currently working on a motion called hip extension, which is your ability to bring your hip forward, often driven by the hamstrings and the glutes. For a little bit of some anatomy and function lesson for you guys watching. I realize I probably should have played some stretchy, feel-good vibe music, but that's not normally my vibe. I like to normally sit and suffer in my stretch. So I should probably think about doing that in the future. Maybe I'll stretch more. How are we doing on time? Oof. Well over the minute. And we're relaxing on that. We're going to move on to a hip flexion stretch this time, team. Here, you're going to extend this leg here and really try to hold this position. You might even feel a stretch in this hip flexor, totally okay. If you want to enhance this stretch and integrate the calf into this, pull the toes towards the shin. You should also not feel pain directly behind the knee. That's very important. Stretching here, good. Stretching here, good. Stretching directly behind the knee is bad news bears. Don't let that happen. You can also perform iso holds here by squeezing the quad further, by pulling the calf, pulling the toes further, or by trying to drive the heel towards the ground. Like so. Those are the ways to perform ice hold in this range to enhance your stretch and make you feel good. I think we've had about around 6 minutes of good stretching so far, guys. Boom, switching sides. Also, another good point to point out, you should not feel your low back come off the ground while in this stretch position. It should be pretty much like having a neutral spine. You don't have to crush the ground with your low back, but you should not feel like a tug and an arch in your low back while you perform the stretch. Ugh. 30 seconds in, team. Hold strong. hold strong. I think we're about to get to minute 18 as far as the stretchy time is concerned, but we'll figure it out as we go. I'm gonna try and keep it as close to 50 minutes as I can because that's what I said earlier on in the video. And relax. Boom. Next, we're gonna work on stretching both the low back and the lats. So the lats is latissimus dorsi for science nerds or direct, accurate anatomy musculature, are essentially this huge fan muscle attached from your lower back all the way to your shoulder, right? So by stretching and mobilizing the lats, making those feel good, that can actually have better impact on your low back. So what we can do is we can kind of get into, I believe it's called child's pose in yoga. Come here, lean forward, and get a solid position and stretch. I'm reaching forward as I do this. Give my 2 minute time to go. Boom. And I'll hold this for about a minute. And I feel this horribly, team. Oh my gosh. My foot also decided to cramp, so I'm in excruciating pain, but I'm going to hold on as best I can for you guys. Couldn't hold on, guys. All right, back in it. About 20 more seconds, team. Ooh, iso holds, guys. Trying to drag the ground towards you, or trying to push the floor away, or how you perform iso holds in this specific position. Boom. All right. Minute done. Now, guys, we're going to stay in this position, and then we're just going to deviate our, we're going to stay in this pose, but deviate our position. So what I'll do first is, still here, now I'm going to bring my right hand away and try to bring my left hand to it. So now we're focusing on one lat at a time. Like so. Oh, fiddlesticks. Ooh, my lats, guys. Once again, form the iso by pushing the ground away and pulling it back to me. Further enhancing the stretch, making it even more and more magical. Would be the better term, possibly. 2, 1, guys. Switching direction of the stretch. So now I'm reaching across. Oh, I'm so sore. Also, fun fact, while stretching, you want to do calming breaths. As the stretch intensifies, people tend to pant or breathe faster. I recommend calm, steady breaths through the nose. Contrary to popular belief, you don't want to go taking this huge abnormal breath for no reason. You actually want to breathe light. The breath should almost like just kind of like tickle the hairs of your nose. It's not like it's supposed to be this huge, drastic, or dramatic event while breathing. Boom. All right, and a little bit over a minute there, guys. Now we're moving on to our next stretch. Because a lot of people work at the desk, they often beat their wrists and the forearms to being at a keyboard. So we're going to work on that next. We're going to be in this position here. My fingertips are flat against the ground. like so, and then I'm gonna try to sit back in my chair. I cannot, but if I had the mobility, I would lean further back and try to sit my butt towards my heels. I do not have that. So this is where I remain. To form the ice hold here, you would try to pull the fingertips towards you, towards your forearm here. You would also spread your fingertips and push them against the ground. Is another good option. You should feel this, guys, on your forearms, specifically the top. Oh. Gosh, guys, I think my forearms are shaking from the level of stress that's happening. Boom, that was a minute mark. Now we're going to go and stretch the opposite direction. Boom. Okay, timer. Here, now I'm going to try to sit my butt back towards my heels. This is the most I have right here, guys, so this is what I'll stick with. Ooh, big stretch. Really get to my forearm, guys. Apparently I've got tight forearms. Stretch. Ooh. Ooh. The minute's passed, guys. What we're gonna do next, one last stretch, is we're gonna stretch our T-spine. It often gets locked up because we sit and we're very static. So we're gonna work on rotating through the T-spine. What you're gonna do is you're gonna get to a tabletop position. I'm gonna hit my timer now. Take your hand, you're gonna reach through, let the arm bend, and just sit and sink here into the ground. You're gonna try to breathe into your open side. So shift from different angle. Here, I'm trying to breathe into this side while I do this, guys. And what I mean by breathe into it, imagine your breath traveling to your oblique that you're reaching through and towards, through this side. That's where your breath is trying to go. About 15 seconds, guys. Five, 3, 2, 1. Let's switch sides and stretch the other way. Boom. Once again, guys, slow breaths. Oh, I don't really feel this, guys. This is miserable for me, actually. Past the halfway point, team. I think about 10 seconds. I think we just hit the minute mark. Boom, we'll call it the minute mark, guys. Yo, so that was a 15-minute static stretch break. I'm feeling very loose and limber. Hopefully you are, as well as you did this. Thank you for following along. If you have questions about any stretch in this video or any other exercises on your YouTube channel, on this specific YouTube channel, definitely leave them in the comments. if you find that you have an issue stretching a certain part, you have pain, aches, anything of that nature, put it in the YouTube comments. I'll see, number one, if the issue that you're making, if there's an exercise in my YouTube channel or my movement library that exists that can help that, I'll actually just paste the link on your comment so you can do that. If for some reason there is not an exercise in my YouTube channel that would help with that, I will just create a new exercise that will help address this concern. But yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed this stretch along. Once again, not only a fan of dynamic stretching, or of static stretching, sorry, I'm a huge fan of dynamic stretching, so I really recommend that. If you guys haven't or are not used to dynamic stretching, I would definitely recommend going there. But static stretching does have its place. It isn't the worst thing in the world, and it can really help you if you're feeling stiff from a long day's work, because that's what happens to a lot of people. But yeah, guys, if you like this video, definitely give me that thumbs up. If you have questions, once again, please leave them in the comments. And if you haven't yet, definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel.